the Entrepreneur Experts Cafe, sponsored by Entrepreneurs Rocket Fuel. I am Kimberly Hobscheid, your host and the creator of the Facebook community, Entrepreneurs Rocket Fuel, a community by entrepreneurs for entrepreneurs, helping entrepreneurs and experts get their business to the next level. Come join the community at www.entrepreneursrocketfuel.com/Facebook and join the conversation. Today, I am going to interview Natasha Todorovic-Cowan. Natasha is an expert on change and fueling change makers. Natasha, welcome to the program.
Kimberly, it is so awesome to be with you. I'm so excited. Thank you so much for having me.
Awesome. So spoiler alert, Natasha and I are good friends, along with being business partners. And she is amazing. I love the way she shows up in the world. So I know a ton about you, but my audience does not. So can you share with us a little bit about who you are and what you do?
Oh, absolutely, Kimberly. It's so awesome to be with you. So business and executive coaches and consultants certify on our spiral dynamics assessments. I mentor them through the use of these so that their clients will rave. They can rock the change with their clients. And so their clients return, refer, and recommend them. And I'm also really skilled at strategy of implementing change and also helping organizations navigate change. Do that with our spiral dynamics assessments, and that's what these coaches and consultants certify to use so they can rock their client results.
Wow. Well, there's nothing consistent like consistency of change. Change will occur no matter what's going to happen. So that's the only thing that we can really count on, is that things are going to change. So you are right there in the thick of things, helping people manage that, even though people generally don't like change very much. Is that right?
Well, when you say change, the very first thing people go into is panic mode. They want everybody else to change to accommodate to them.
Isn't that the way it's supposed to be? Like,
it exactly is the way it should be. Yeah. Everybody change for me.
Fantastic. Right. Because, we know what's best. And if they would just think of it our way, everything would be perfect, right?
They'd just line up the way they were supposed to. The world would be a perfect place. Exactly. This is why we're friends.
Exactly. Actually, the phrase, my ducks are in a row, that phrase, my ducks are in a row. I've changed that phrase. I think it should be, because my ducks have never been in a row. But if I generally get my ducks in a huddle, I think I've won the prize. Like,
I love the duck huddle. That's fantastic.
I'm going to get my ducks in a huddle and we'll all be okay. It'll just be fine. I think as entrepreneurs, we need to do that. And entrepreneurs are probably the first to change when new change comes into the world. It's nice that we are able to pivot because we don't have a whole giant ship that we're turning. But it can be very challenging for us to absorb change very quickly as well. What do you think the biggest challenges are for people in facing change?
Well, I think there are a few challenges, typically three. One is changing oneself, and we need to be very self-aware. We need to be aware of our emotions. We need to be aware of what's important to us, our values, that whole internal experience of the entrepreneur or the coach or the business leader who is heading the change or supporting the change. The second is understanding the entire internal landscape of the people who want or need or at gunpoint are having to change.
I like how you put that, because in big organizations, sometimes it does feel like you're at gunpoint. You are going to have to change like right now and fast. So yeah, absolutely.
Well, and here are the stats on change. Individual change, only 1 out of 10 people can do it themselves, even at gunpoint. Right?
Wow.
When they're told you change or die, they're going to die. 1 out of 10 will not change. And, this is research with people who've had open heart surgery and have been told by their doctors, dude, you've had this bypass or this open heart surgery. If you do not change the way you eat, the way you live, you will die. And they say, okay. And they can't do it.
Wow.
Right?
That's a really good point.
I know. It's just frightening. You'd figure, oh, well, duh, of course, if I got that, I would totally change. And we don't. And then the other side of it, organizationally, it's a little better, but organizationally, only 30% of change efforts succeed. That means 70% of them are failing.
Wow.
And
Yeah.
so change ain't easy.
Yeah.
And when we hear the word, you have to change, we literally, our brains say, oh my God, I'm going to die. That's how
Interesting.
our brains react.
Interesting. All right. So, what's your advice for people who are facing change that need to make this change? How can they overcome these challenges?
Well, some of the ways that we do it is we use instruments that help measure change readiness, that help measure change resilience, that help consultants and coaches and business leaders understand the bite sizes that people need in order to change. So if you've got a football player and you need to feed this football player, you're not going to feed them with the baby spoon.
Mm,
And if you've got a baby, you're not going to feed them with the football player spoon.
good
So
point.
that's the metaphor I use. So the assessments tell us where people are at, how flexible they are, how much they're going to dig their heels in, how stressed they are, how excited about things they are. And then that gives the coach or the consultant or the business leader a map and an avenue for pursuing change with the different folks that they're working with.
So what if people are like, they are eating with the baby spoon, right? They're like, I'm not ready for change. I'm just not going to. But the organization is like, yeah, we're gonna change, and this is gonna happen. How do you make that as comfortable as possible for both parties?
Well, what we do is we make sure that everybody understands what's going to happen and that it's delivered in the way that people need to receive it.
Mm.
So we do an analysis, figure out how they need to receive it, and then go ahead with that. So, as an example, we had a client who was about to just cut loose this particular client. And we went through one of the first pieces, which is connection, connecting with what is alive in the client.
Mm.
And she was just like, I'm done with this client. It's a bad fit client. Don't want to work with her anymore. And we taught her the skills of deeper connection. We taught her the skills of transforming that internal landscape, her own and the client's. And she went off and tried it and came back not only with restoring a relationship because she understood what her client wanted and needed, but also she walked back with a $150,000 contract.
Holy moly. All right. So if you're looking dollar signs, this is a really amazing technology to use to be able to engage in this methodology and make sure that you are going to get the change that you need and enact the change with other people because, it's really all about them changing instead of us, right?
Exactly. How do you make everybody else change?
Fantastic. All right, fantastic. We are at time, but I'm really excited that you carved time out of your day. Before I let you go, tell me,
Anything for you, Kimberly, anytime.
you're awesome. But I want to know, how can people find out more information about you, and where can they get more information on Fueling Changemakers?
Well, you know what I'd be super happy to do is gift your audience with a change playbook. What it does is it walks them through 10 days where they figure out what this change is about for them, whatever the change, whether it's a corporate change, whether it's a I need to work with my client a little bit differently change, whether it's a I really need to evaluate my place in the world kind of a change. So if they just go to bit.ly/change playbook, capital C, capital P, bit.ly /change playbook. They can pick up the playbook, they can get the videos, and that'll walk them through any change that they want to either endure or impose on others.
Fantastic. All right, great. Natasha, that's very generous. Thank you very much for giving that. And do you have contact information or a website or someplace where people can go and find out more information about spiral dynamics and Fueling Changemakers?
Well, if they want to go to spiraldynamics.org, there's all kinds of information there. And I definitely recommend going to that change playbook. That's bit.ly/change playbook and picking up that change playbook. That'll pop you right into the system and lots of material there. Just jump on the change bandwagon because, if we're not resilient, if we're not change ready, then we can't compete in this world. We can't even survive in the world. We're going backwards. And we've got to have our finger on the pulse of change.
Well said. Normally I ask if there's any final words for our crew, but that was really, really well said. I don't want to step on that, but you got any last words?
I'm going to ask you, are you fully leveraging the power of connection to maximize your client results and ensure that you retain them, that you get the transformation that they want and need, and that you build raving fans that refer? Connection is the key.
Connection is the key. Very well said. Natasha Todorovic-Cowan came to us today to talk about fueling change makers from Spiral Dynamics. We're super glad that you carved time out of your day. This is
Awesome to be with you, Kimberly. I love you. You're fabulous.
Love you to bits. All right. I'm Kimberly Hobscheid, the host of Entrepreneurs Experts Cafe, and we are wrapping up one more episode, and we'll see you again. Cheers.